Today we're going to talk about a more ideal dating model than traditional for black people, because the traditional dating system was built on white wealth and government handouts that excluded us, right? So this means regardless of what we pick, 50-50, 100-0, none of those are going to work because black people experience economic theft, unpaid labor, and social instability at higher rates. So we need a system that prioritizes fairness, stability, and collective power in a relationship.
The 50-50 conversation has gone absolutely wild.
So I call this a black legacy model. It's a framework designed to counteract systemic barriers, redistribute labor fairly, and build generational wealth for us. Because black love can't thrive under a system that wasn't made for us. It's not who pays what. Here's why the traditional model fails. Black men have been locked out of wealth building, right? Redlining, mass incarceration, job discrimination, and black women had to work and run households, double labor with no recognition, and that wasn't sustainable, right? White couples succeed because they inherit assets. Black people often inherit struggle. Here's where the legacy model fixes it. Income-based contributions. Whoever makes more pays more without resentment, period. That's the end of that discussion. Economic flexibility. If one partner is in career building mode, the other one provides stability, but the goal is long-term balance, right? Asset accumulation over consumption.
Like, you would think that this is like rudimentary, this is obvious, but the 50-50 conversation is something that happens in the community of color online for some strange reason, because it's almost as if we are in some strange competition with people that, like he says, at the end of the day, are not on the same level as you. Worried about people that are paying 100% or paying 50% or doing this, when in reality, we ain't getting anywhere. And the 50-50 conversation is all about pills. In the first place, go to show you that we in a conversation that we shouldn't be in. Because I always assumed 50-50 was about equal effort towards the totality of a relationship. And finance is just one portion of the relationship.
Right, stop the paycheck to paycheck cycle, prioritize home ownership, investments in life insurance, but financial transparency and education. Talk about money openly. No more financial secrets or struggling in silence, right? No one should feel like a provider or a burden. We are building together, right? This is a building together.
You would think.
The second pillar is the redistribution of labor, fairness over gender roles, right? Here's why the traditional roles fail black couples. Black women do more unpaid labor, housework, childcare, emotional labor, even when they work full-time. Black men are expected to financially provide even when the system puts them at a disadvantage, right? That kind of creates an emotional tension. But here's how the black legacy model resolves this. Labor is shared, not assigned by gender. If you live there, you clean there. If you eat, you cook sometimes. Emotional labor is recognized and reciprocated, right? So if she listens to your struggles, listen to hers. If he needs reassurance, give it too. It really is just about helping each other. No one partner is overworked while the other coasts. Balance is what creates longevity. It is not your feelings, right? And this is also another thing, that childcare is a partnership, not a favor. A father isn't a babysitter, he's an equal parent. We got to start actually just talking about the level of accountability we need to have given how far we've, gotten. The third pillar is community and family investment. This is the village approach, right? Here's where the American model failed us. White families accumulate wealth through generational support, right? Inheritance, business connections, housing assistance, right? But black couples are expected to do everything alone, often while supporting extended family, right? The reverse. Here's how we fix it. Raising kids ain't just on the parents, grandparents, aunties, and trusted friends contribute. Group economies, pulling money for investments, real estate and business ventures, right? Elder and child care strategies. Instead of relying on expensive outside help, black families can create in-home support systems, right? If we move like a community, we stop struggling like individuals.
Yeah.
If we move like a community, we'll stop struggling like individuals.
Yeah, you would think that was smart too. A lot of the wealth gap studies, they talk about a lot of reasons that people of color, particularly black people, are behind is because they don't prioritize a sense of community when it comes to taking care of the children, when it comes to bills, when it comes to keeping multiple people of the family in one household, but instead pushing people out early, drawing wealth from one person that has money instead of, like he says, finding ways for labor to be distributed a little more evenly and income to be distributed a little more evenly in regards to bill pay.
We have the work till you die mentality, and it keeps black men and women exhausted with
I
no
agree that
long-term
everybody
plan.
probably has
Here's
that,
the truth,
though.
right? One partner should never feel like their dreams are a financial risk to the family. That should never happen. A black couple should be a wealth-building team, right? Not just two people trying to pay bills together.
Yeah.
There are some cities that are really bad for black couples to try to develop in and resist systemic barriers, like New York, San Francisco, LA, Boston. The environment you build in matters, right? Choose a city that allows you to thrive, not survive. Because black couples aren't surviving, right? Like we can talk about how black couples aren't thriving, but if I point out a dead animal on the side of the road and complain that he's not thriving, what were my expectations? So here's the final blueprint, how the black legacy model works in action. Build an economic partnership first, right? Romance second. Money stress kills relationships. Get on the same page.
I think romance is a fallacy in some sense because, it's nice and when everybody's feeling each other and everything's hunky-dory, everything's going smooth, then you're going to be infatuated with your partner. But once things go south, that's typically when people's resentment and anger and jealousy and all that stuff starts to creep up. It's kind of unfortunate that we as a community have to have conversations like this. But again, I don't think this is anything that is exclusive to black people. I think that this is something that people have been exercising in relationships for a long time. Maybe this is something that a lot of black people in modernity are against in some sense. I'd probably argue that the majority of couples that are successful when it comes to their wealth and their romantic prowess are probably following a similar model. It's pretty simple. We're making sure everything is distributed in a way that no one person feels the burden, whether that's around the house, whether that's bill pay, whatever. We're helping each other out in every avenue. I think that's a true 50-50 relationship because you're talking about, like, even if you brought up emotional support, you're talking about both people, both parties contributing to the success of the relationship. A true relationship is rooted in much more than just kisses and hugs and bills being paid. Currently doing anything like this. He's not saying anything profound. This is something you would think would be common sense. If you move like a community, we'll stop struggling as an individual. Yeah, duh. They said, oh, she's a new Dr. Umar. My husband worked 2 jobs for me to get my degree. After I got my degree in the job, I made sure that, I made more than he did. And he got his degree, now he makes more than me. Talk about money openly. Yes, please, please, please. So again, like I said, I thought this was like common sense, but apparently a lot of people have had their eyes opened by this man. Hey, so good for him. CYPHER.J on TikTok. He's, I guess, out there spitting facts.
This video, I'm gonna answer more black questions. These are
no freaking way. Somebody just commented that.
So today we're gonna talk about.
Somebody commented up here. Cliff and Claire Huxtable are a great example of. I guess maybe she meant if. Claire had the kids, Cliff went to school. Cliff raised the kids, Claire went to law school. I know multiple white couples who did this. Not all white people inherit wealth, but they gave each other the stability while in school.
Submission in relationships is a Eurocentric concept. It comes from a world where white men are given wealth and power by the state, and white women submitted because they have financial security from the government-backed wealth, right? Black men were never given that power. So why are we trying to force a model that was never designed for us? The real question is, what does fair leadership and partnership look like in a black relationship? Because submission without resources is oppression. Right.
Okay. All right. I was with him for a second, but now we really do have Dr. Umar Jr. All right. Let me hear him out, though.
Leadership without accountability is dictatorship. Okay, so we got to actually be serious about this a little bit as black men and as black women calling a black man a leader, right? Because we need to be able to talk about this. Let's talk about why some black men want submission and why black women are rejecting it, right? Some black men want submission because they've been taught that masculinity is tied to dominance, not collaboration. They believe submission equals respect because they've seen white men get it that way. They also feel like they're fighting society and their women, and they want to break from the constant battles, right? Yeah. The problem is that society never gave black men the critical financial or political backing that led to lead like white men did, right? Like, it never happened. That whole leadership thing was an illusion, right? Like it wasn't going the same way. What a black leader is looks different from a white leader, right? Like a black woman.
What specifically would look different?
Submission is fundamentally different than a white woman's submission. We need to take it seriously. So the issue is that when black men demand submission without offering security, it feels like another burden, not protection. And this is something that black guys need to even also understand. You cannot walk up to a woman offering leadership, but not offering security. It's like a thief.
Security in what sense?
Walking up to you, right, and saying, "Let me hold your phone." It is quite literally the exact same vibe. Okay. Some of the reasons why black women are rejecting submission, they've been forced to survive without a safety net for generations.
Yeah.
Period. I should stop there, but I'm gonna lock in. They expected to submit to leadership that hasn't proven stability, right? It just hasn't, right? They see submission as another form of unpaid labor and control, right? So the problem is that.
And then you start losing me when you start talking like that. Why would anybody see something like that?
Submission is being framed as obedience and not partnership. Some of y'all just want obedience from black women, in general.
Yeah.
That isn't right? Like that isn't.
You wouldn't want obedience from your partner? But I would assume that you would want, in some sense, your obedience for your partner. If you say, "Hey, look, these are the things I would like for you to do or to not do," then you would want your partner to be obedient to that because they care for you in the relationship.
I'm willing to almost say it isn't godly, right? Black women want support, not control. Black women are not against good leadership. They're against being left vulnerable, and I think that's the clearest thing I can put.
What would be wrong with you as a woman seeing a partnership as you submitting to your partner? Like, is your boss your leader because they're providing you security? Is your manager your leader because of that?
Making with their partner, right? Take responsibility for decision making with your partner, right? Not over her, with your partner.
I agree with that.
Right? Leading by example, not just expecting obedience. And here's what partnerships mean. Mutual respect, not one person having power over the other. Yeah. Sharing labor fairly, whether it's financial, emotional, or household duties. Black women are so effective, right? When they get into a relationship, they usually start unpaid labor immediately, right? Share it.
What the heck are you talking about, unpaid labor? If two people move into a house together, and one person is cleaning, should the other person not clean too? Are they both participating in unpaid labor?
The real goal is that a relationship where neither partner feels overworked, unprotected, or unheard.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And the next thing we need to do is replace you with we. So a bad approach is you men don't provide, right? We need to ask the question, right? So we've all been put in a system where black family struggles economically. How do we fix it? Right?
These conversations that you're having are based on the premise that a lot of black people believe that they are high and mighty. Is that a lot of people are not living in reality.
Black women weren't allowed to build financial security either, right? They couldn't own property for years. Years. Right? Couldn't even get a bank account without a husband or father signing. Right? Got pushed
It's not exclusive to only black women.
pushed into domestic work that paid nothing. So, and they were forced to be main caretakers even when they work full time. So,
It's not exclusive to black women.
Women historically have been excluded from so much income wise that the very concept of a 50-50 household is like mythological to them. Like us dudes, like we talk like 50-50 is just something doable. Like it's just well understood because, you know, in a gay male relationship, it pretty much would be, right? Because
What?
but women were cut out of, you know, getting like a credit card in the 80s, right? Opening a business by themselves without their husband. Right?
Why?
Well, you're asking for 50-50 from her? You know what I'm saying? Like
No one was asking her for anything, because if you knew your wife was not working, you weren't asking her for money. She was asking you for money.
I just think that people need to understand that like 50-50 is like a really progressive thought. And like if you're gonna be a dual advocating for it, you got to lock in on the unpaid labor.
Yo, how in the world do we keep having conversations about 50-50 in black relationships or in relationships as a whole? Take the black portion out of it, because this dude's got me thinking like that now. Bro, why did 50-50 become something that is only exclusive to your economic status?
Like men were glamorized for like a 9 to 5, and women were glamorized for doing all other work. Now I just need people to understand that no man does all the work at his job, but women felt like they had to do all the work at their house. Okay, like, and then for
Again, this is untrue. Like, where are you coming up with this information? Okay, your wife would cook and clean, and she would take the burden of taking care of your children. It makes more logical sense for you to, instead of me paying babysitters that likely do not care about my children or their well-being, why would my wife, the mother of the children, not care more than these people? So in a society where the man could go out and do physical labor jobs, blue-collar work, and provide enough or garner enough income in order to carry the bills, I could do that. So instead of us trying to find another way for my wife to go earn income, she can work at home and deal with the children. I'll take that loss instead of me having to go spend the money on a babysitter. A lot of these women were still finding different ways to earn income on the side, though. This was a struggle for many people because most people were not rich. Like, most people were never rich. So women are earning a lot of money. There's more flexibility with what you can do with children, how they can intake information, how they can learn, etc. So if we're talking about 50-50 in regards to finances, that conversation has just become more prevalent nowadays because there are more income. That is one required, but there's also more income earned. In the comments, 50-50 in a healthy relationship is more than financials. Doing half the mental work, half the planning for dates, half the grocery shopping, giving out your half to all the household activities. So obviously there's some commentary there, so people were upset about that. And honestly speaking, it will never be 50-50. You may need to give more, receive more due to what's happening. 50-50 sounds good in real situations. It will never always going to be 50-50. 100% correct. On the hardest times, my wife gives 20% finance while I give 80%. And she gave 100% when I can buy a house, moving in, etc. while I was out of the country. It's dynamic.